Oh, welcome boys. Here we are going to see the bonding with the chain pi donor ligands. The donor ligands. Okay. And this involves some olefins, acetylene, and even maybe you can have something like, uh, and in some cases even it is allenes also. Allenes. Okay. So here is something brief mention about that. So you can see that vast majority of the metal complexes with pi donor ligands involve low valent transition metals. Low valent transition metals. It is those belonging to group 5b through 8. That means 5b, that is 6b, 7b, and 7 and 8. The formation of the highly stable organometallic complex by low valent metals is explained by oxidation states from -1 to +2, particularly by Dewar-Chard-Duncanson model. And this suggests that the ligand donates pi electron. So here is the ligand that you are having. Can you see that ligand? This is the pi bonding of the ligand that is there. And this donates the electron density to the metal atom of sigma symmetry. Okay, this is the pi symmetry and this is sigma symmetry. So what happens is when it donates some pi electron density to its donation means even it will be deviation of the pi electron cloud or even some electrons going into the metal sigma symmetry directed to the center of the ligand pi system. So it will be towards this particular system. Okay, especially if you have something like metal and pi bonds, they mutually give rise to some bonds. Some bonds will be there at the center. Some bonds will be there at the center. That is mentioned here, right? So some pi is given into the sigma orbital that is at this directed towards it, not exactly. Okay, directed. So that is what you have to write exactly to be precise to the center of the metal pi system, and the metal in turn back bonds in electron density into the ligand pi orbital. So metal donates some electron into the pi orbital. This is what we have seen as the synergism, and that is responsible for the strengthening of the bond. Strengthening of the. Here I would like you to stress on the fact that the directed to the center of the ligand pi system is more important. Center of the ligand pi system. Okay, so that results in, so you can see that here is a M pi bond and a M sigma bond. This is the sigma bond, M sigma bond, and this is the M pi bond that is there. This is M pi bond there. So you must be able to draw it. So I am going to give some example there. So let's look into that example here. It's a metal carbonyl, and you can see that there is sigma bonding involves major major sigma electron donor from the carbonyl ligand into the metal orbital. But in a pi bonding, it involves some donation into the pi system. Okay, this is the pi system. This is sigma system. Sigma system means you've got one electron and two electron there. Here you have empty pi orbital there. Empty pi orbital there. So that is what is called as the empty ligand sigma pi star orbital. Note this particular point. So metal's last electron is given here, and this is the electron. This is the arrow. This records the donation, and this consists of the filled metal T2G into empty sigma filled metal T2G to empty ligand pi star. So it is in fact a kind of TTG to pi star orbital. So you must remember that when electrons are donated to pi star orbital, it results in weakening of the bond actually. Unless there is some reciprocation, and this reciprocation is that some back bonding or some metal itself is giving back some of the electrons there. So that is given out here, like for example M3d orbital of T2g into some P3d orbital. That is all. So this is a kind of adjustment, dd pi bond. Actually d orbital are some of the electrons, d electrons there, and this is the pi bond that is there. So this electron goes into the P3d orbital, that is which is already empty. So you got sp3d, and then you got some p of another level. So this level is slightly accommodated. It is accommodated there. In fact, you can call them as something called as a non-bond. And why do we involve this? We have to involve this because some of the phi s character or phi p character, it accommodates some of the electrons, or it in fact is a high energy system. So high energy system there. So as a result of that, there is some kind of space available, like d electrons, and when some electrons go into this, like this, you have seen some empty space is created here, so that the ligand's electrons are in, or ligand's electrons go into that. Okay, so in fact it is again a metal pi system, ligand pi system, but here we are studying with respect to the olefins. What are olefins? Olefins are the double bonded and triple bonded systems, like C double bond C system. So you have direct metal going into the pi system, doesn't go there, doesn't go to the carbon system, and like this. Okay, so look at this a close and this is an example. What is happening here? Metal dxy square is there. Metal, they are not taking metal dxz dyz square orbital. Why? Because this orbital is directed towards an empty orbital of the phosphine, right? So the direction in now it results in some kind of symmetric nature. Okay, symmetric nature. Whereas if you bring some in the place of this dx square minus y square, if you bring dz square, that orbital will be something like this, z square, and it will not be symmetric with this one. So therefore there will be no effective bonding or no effective overlap. So likewise, the most important factor is the symmetric nature of that. So phosphine pi aspect accepting back bonding is again given here. As a result of this approach only, some sigma bond formation is there. Sigma bond formation is there, and that is exclusively by this one. Okay, so you can see pi bond formation by dxy orbital. Dxy. The reason is symmetric nature. So dxy orbital is symmetric with the pi system, but dx square minus y square is symmetric with the sigma system. So likewise, you have got when you can consider this kind of bonding, you can correlate it with the same with alkene sigma bonding. So similar kind of bonding is all. So of all the lectures, I mean, you are going to see diagrams you are going to draw. This diagram seems very important here, because the dx square minus y square is bonding a sigma bond with the pi bonding orbital of the alkene. Okay, so alkene means any double bond. Ene is a double bond. So let me just take acetylene. So here you got a CH triple bond CH acetylene. This is an alkene. CH2 double bond CH2. Let me just take as alkene. CH3 CH triple bond CH is acetylene. It's an alkyne. So alkene means only this one with only the double bond there. And likewise, an metal dxy, it's not dz square, it's only dxy. It is having some closer similarity with this one pi system. Okay, so remember I told you that if you write empty p orbital, it is symmetric with dxy. Okay, so this is some kind of you consider this kind of some kind of phase. So I am going to draw the same here. You can see that this phase and this phase are similar, whereas here you have this phase and this phase similar, right? The dark shaded and dark shaded are opposite in these two parts, and the dark shaded and dark shaded are in the similar phase. Okay, same phase, same phase. I am giving importance to this because the molecular orbital concept is very essential for understanding this. So here you can note down the difference there. Okay. Here you can note down the difference. What is happening? This is along the x-axis. You can see it's along the x-axis. The same thing is, but this is along the z-axis. That means the bonds have rotated. This particular bond, that this particular lobe, it is rotated like this. So as a result, it has come here like this. Why? Because this lobe is symmetrical with this particular lobe. Lobe symmetry is there. Lobe symmetry is there, and this helps in more than the mutual bonding. What is more than the mutual bonding? Metal is there, ligand is there. So one electron is donated from the metal to the ligand, and another electron is donated from the ligand to the metal. But you have to explain the extra stability. The extra stability is explained by means of the metals dz square minus x square or gx square minus y square orbital going into the ligands pi star orbital, and then ligands some of the orbital coming into the low high symmetry, similar symmetry of the metal orbital. So that is giving rise to that particular thing. So here you can see the Duncanson model. It suggests that you have this pi acid alkenes donates electron density into a metal d orbital for a pi symmetry bonding orbital between the carbon atoms. This is an essential point you need to mention that. The metal donates electron back from a different field orbital. This is different is what is more important. Field d orbital into the empty pi star antibonding orbital. Remember, empty pi star antibonding orbital, usually it weakens the bond. Both of these effects tend to reduce the carbon-carbon bond. That is what is being mentioned here. I am telling weakening and it's telling reducing the carbon-carbon bond atom, leading to an elongated C-type system. So you should see this in the context of the CC bond. CC bond, C triple bond, C bond, C triple bond, C bond, which has got higher length, which has got high length, bond length. I think you must have an idea of that. So, but anyway, you can keep in mind that if some electron is donated into the pi star orbital, okay, the elongation is taking place, lengthening of the bond is taking place. Bond lengthening is taking place. Electron into pi star orbital, it gives rise to bond lengthening. This you can find how you finding this. Bond order is calculated by means of the number of electrons in the bonding orbital minus electrons in the anti-bonding orbital divided by 2. So naturally, pi star is anti-bonding orbital. Pi star is anti-bonding orbital. So if you increase the number of electrons there, you are subtracting more, so the values gets lesser. So bond order is keeping on changing, right? So d orbital electrons going into the empty pi bonding orbital, the value increases, and as a result, the value is increases means the bond order value increases means the bond length is also increasing. That is to be mentioned there precisely. Okay. So here is the next part of the very good explanation. I think you have to remember this. I'll again explain this particular thing. So this is the metal orbital, and this is empty d orbital. So let us take this as something which is like dx square minus y square, because it is symmetrical with the acetylene pi system. Okay, so that results in sigma type donation. Pi system means the bonds are there. So here you can watch out the symmetrical portions there. So there is a lot of delocalization here. all along the space, lot of delocalization, and therefore lot of delocalization means stability is there. Stability is there. So these two are directed. Okay, this is the filled pi orbital. That means it is only pi. It is not pi star. Okay, but what happens is there are other orbitals. This is d x square minus y square. I am just telling. There may be other orbitals like dxy, which is having or dxz. Maybe I can write z. Dxz is having an axis like this and this. Here there is matching of these two, and this is also the matching. Faces are matching. The faces are matching. So as a result of that, filled d orbital is donating an electron into the acetylene pi orbital. Why? Only because of same symmetry. Only because of same symmetry. Okay. So this is a sigma type donation and pi type back donation. Sigma type donation, pi type back donation. And what do you get here at the lower part? Pi type donation, sigma type back donation. So both these types strengthen metal ligand bonds. And you can see here, this is the sigma bond of the CC system there. Sigma bond of the CC system there. And this is what is this orbital? I think this is DXY type orbital or DXZ type orbital. And this is no correct matching there. And there's not at all symmetric. Not symmetric. Therefore weak. Here you can see that filled d orbital, maybe it is dx square minus y square, and there is some matching of this with this. Okay, so filled d orbital into the empty pi star orbital is giving rise to some stability of that. And here I'm just going to write another part of the system here. So I have just copied an example from the notes of my previous study there. I think I just mentioned there. Here it is. So the extent of back bonding depends on the substitution on ethylene or other ligands. For example, in the complex L RH2H4 C2F4, that is rhodium is at the center, and you have got C2H4 there, and C2F4 is here. Okay, so there is some other ligands. L is still acetylene ligand or some other thing there. The tetrafluoroethane molecule bonds more strongly. This is it is telling why it is having C double bond C F like this. There are more electronegative atom F like this. These act, in fact, it's a kind of bond. Rhodium is having bonding. So this one is this one. And tetrafluoroethyl bonds more strongly and a shorter distance RSC of about 201 to 202 pm, or I can just put it as 2.01 to 2.02 mu yam. Or I can write it as the picometer to nanometer is just coming from 2.01 to 2.1 angstrom. I'll just better in terms of the angstrom. Then this one is unsubstituted ethylene. This is unsubstituted ethylene. It will go like this: C, H, H, and H. So you have F here, and in the place of H you have only H here. It's an unsubstituted, and those are having a bond length of 2.17 to about 2.19 angstrom. So you can see that bonding length has been reduced. And the question may be, if you go from C2H4 to C2F4, bond length is decreasing. Bond length is decreasing. Why? Reason is number of electrons in the bonding orbital minus number of electrons in the anti-bonding orbital divided by 2. If you increase this one, the bond length increases. If you decrease this one, the bond length decreases. So as a result of that, there is more electrons are withdrawn into fluorine orbitals. More electrons are withdrawn into the, because of the electronegativity of the fluorine atom. As a result of that, you don't have very good pi system donation into the ligand or into the central metal atom. This is the metal into the central metal atom. So as a result, there is no donation, there is no filling of this AB bond, and you get a very less bond length of 0.01 angstrom to 2.02 angstrom. We can mention it like the PM, or you just come up to this and you can write it as angstrom. It is better to understand the angstrom, but here I am just taking the notes that this indicates that the pi acceptor ability of C2H4 is the most important factor in determining the bond length of this particular compound. So I am just going to put another part of the notes here. Remember, this by bonding orbital and anti-bonding orbitals are very important, and the concept of bond order, the higher is the bond order and here will be your bond length and as well as the bond angle. So here is it is. The important factors noticed in the source of olefin acetylene complexes, the length of the coordinated olefin C bond is greater than the CC bond. Coordinated olefin C bond means, suppose if you have metal like RH, it is having a bond with the pi system like this. So this particular bond is coordinated. It's greater than the CC bond in the free hydrogen. The C double bond C bond length in the ethylene has gone from 1.337 angstrom in free CS2 to 1.37 in Zeiss salt. What is the Zeiss salt? This is one. This one is the Zeiss salt where you are taking platinum and potassium. Similarly, what is being mentioned there? C double bond C bond length, okay, has gone from 1.33 to 1.37. So it has increased. Why it has increased? Because again you can take up the bond order is equal to number of electrons in bonding orbital minus number of electrons in the anti-bonding orbital divided by 2. So here this non-bonding anti-bonding orbital is this pi star, here it is sigma or so many other stars. Non-bonding orbital. So bonding orbitals is sigma. So what has happened here? 1.33 to 1.37 increased thing is there. When it is increased, what does increase means? There is sigma bonding is this value should be higher. This value should be higher. Higher means you have positive value. Positive. Okay. That when you put the Zeiss salt here, the Zeiss salt means you are adding coordination to that. In the coordination, the d orbital electrons are given into the d orbital dx square minus y square, or electrons are given into the pi star orbital. So as a result of that, here is some electrons are given into this. So when some electrons are given into this value becomes higher. When this value becomes higher, the value is becoming lower there. So the C double bond C bond in ethylene. So it is talking about the ligand here. It is talking about the ligand. It's talking about the ligand has gone from 1.33 free CS2 to 1.37 in Zeiss salt. So it has increased. 1.332 increase. Though you have to write what has happened. It is increased means this value has got higher value. If it has decreased means this value has got higher. So similarly, C triple bond C in the PH triple bond CH has increased from 1.20 to 0.32. So you can explain now why this is there. What you can do is you can note down the what is written by pausing this picture. You can always note down the what has been written there. So the reason is given there. So it's a very good reason there. The reason is as follows. The DCD model, Dunkinson Chart-Dewar model, assumes a symmetric relation between ligand to metal pi star bonding and metal to ligand d pi pi. Okay. Ligand to metal pi sigma bonding is there, and metal to ligand d pi to sigma star. These two are very important. These two are very important. Okay. Both donations pi electron density from the olefin to the metal accumulation of electron density in the olefin peptide would be expected to lower the pi bond order. For this particular pi star is anti-bonding orbital. Would be expected to lower it. So anti-bonding orbital electron pone now lowering bond order to lower bond order is showing this coordinated. As a consequence, the coordinated olefinic or steric bond would be lengthened. Okay, we have already seen. So what is happening when you send electron into anti-bonding orbital? The bond lengthening is taking place. Suppose I will be just write an example. 4 minus 2 by 2 equal to 1. Okay. The same place I am just putting 4 minus 3 because one electron is extra added here in the anti-bonding orbital. This is anti-bonding orbital. 4 minus 3 by 2 equal to 1 by 2 is equal to 0.5. 4 minus 3 is 1, 1 by 2 is 0.5. 0.5 is lessening. Okay. Lessening of the. So you can see that as a result of this electron donation, as a consequence, here it is, we expect lowering of the bond order. Lowering of the bond order. What has happened to the lowering of the bond order? It has become 0.5 from 1. Okay, that is what you are calling the lower. Okay, so lowering of the bond order from 1 to 0.5 is taking place, and as a result of that, the coordinated olefinic or acetylic bond. Coordinated olefinic acetylic bonds means that is already you have a metal and its pi system. Okay, this gets lengthened. This gets lengthened. As a result, the lowest bond order there is a decrease in the C double bond C or C triple bond C stretching frequency. So the question we will ask, the C double bond C drops from 1623 for free olefin to 1526. Why? That there is a drops from 163 to 1526 centimeter minus 1 in the case from free coordinate from free ethylene to the Zeiss salt. What is the Zeiss salt? You are incorporating potassium as well as the platinum. Okay, and as a result of that, bond order is decreased. As a result of that, bond order decreases means stretching frequency is decreasing. That is the reason there. And likewise, VC triple bond C draws from 1657 into in uncomplexed acetylene into 1230. Then PS3 twice P2, that is a coordinated complex, central metal complex. Okay. Now into the structure of the last part of the thing I was going to explain is that uh, it's getting slowing down. See this one? The complexation is symmetrical in the olefinic or sterling carbons are nearly equidistant from the metal. So here, I think I'll explain this in separate class. I will start recording.